Welcome to Mr. Zylin's review, guys. My name is Nicholas and welcome to my channel again. Today we're gonna talk about Skimmer. I have Curve 9 Elite protein skimmer, and this thing is a beast. Honestly, super powerful. And it's time to clean it, so it gets dirty pretty quick, and this is by far my least favorite thing to do. So at the beginning of it, since the size of it is extreme, it's hard for me to remove the collection cup, which is on top of the skimmer that you see that I'm draining right now. This is the best way to do it because this plug right here, you unplug it and it basically drains all the content out of it. If you're not, the chances that you're gonna spill it back into your aquarium and increase your phosphates, nitrate dramatically is pretty high, so you have to be very careful. As you can tell, I kind of have struggle trying to get it out, and trust me, you guys, the smell of the waste is something that is an absolutely horrible thing that you're ever gonna smell. So I'm draining the water out of it because you don't want that all over your floor. That's gonna take a second, so make sure you drain all of it. The only way that I would remove it maybe with the water if there is something like super nasty inside, which is rarely happens, but try to drain as much water as you can, and that is gonna take a second, so I probably gonna skip the whole process of me cleaning it and wiping it down and washing it for you guys, and we'll jump to the next. So here you go. I removed the skimmer, and the skimmer is clean now. I have to take it apart. So sorry guys, it's very large skimmer. It's kind of hard to maneuver with it all around. So this is CJ pump, metal and meat pump. Very reliable. Nice equipment, extremely powerful. So on top you see a clear box, which basically breaks down the bubbles into different sections, which basically makes it more stable foam. And the foam attach proteins and the waste to itself, so taking it up through the skimmer body. As you can tell, it looks like a wine bottle. So the foam gets denser and attracts more and more waste, and it rises through the body and goes into the collection cup, which basically all the waste collected, and then you remove it. So this is probably one of the most important part of your equipment, because it's definitely going to help you fight nitrates and phosphate overload in your system, which causes algae, and algae will affect your corals, especially if you have SPS. It basically will suppress their growth, and it's going to be irritating them, and it's going to be a really bad deal. So we'll put it together. Initially when I bought it, when it was brand new, it was easy to turn those knobs. You can see they're like plastic threaded bolts, but it's gonna take me a second. Let me mess with it. So I usually use a wrench and give it about a quarter turn. Don't over tight it, because you're just gonna break the plastic, and nothing good's gonna happen after that. So the water will be leaching through the body, and because it's not gonna be a tight seal, and that's something you want to avoid by any means necessary. It's probably gonna be extremely hard to repair. So I tie them right here. Give me a second. Let me look at it. Hang on. Let me grab a wrench. So yeah, unfortunately, some of the skimmers, they use titanium bolts, and those titanium bolts are amazing. So here you go. I'll just use a wrench. Give it a little quarter of a turn. You don't have to keep it super tight. So just kind of be gentle with it and give it a quarter turn, like I said. Then the bolts are in. So this is what the skimmer looks like attached. So on the bottom of it, that's where the gate well for the water that escapes the protein skimmer goes through, and this is the device basically where it takes in the air, and inside of the pump there is a toothbrush looking wheel, which basically has many hairs on it, and because of that, when it rotates, it breaks up the air by billions of little tiny bubbles that are then lifted through the protein skimmer body, and it basically attracts all the bad proteins, bad nasty stuff. So we're gonna wipe it down. So by the way, if you're in the ocean and you see the waves coming, and then you see super thick dense foam that kind of pushes out with the waves, this is basically what it does. It cleans up your water and removes the hardest part, which is your nitrate, phosphates, and some of the nutrients that are in your water that causes problem later. So this is the collection cup. So the foam comes through there. So there is like a pipe inside of the pipe, and there has a lid. So basically the foam just hits that lid and kind of falls over this edge right here, and then so it basically folds over and collects up there. So, and that's where it sits until you remove it. Some people attach special devices, which we probably will talk about eventually, but for now it's unnecessary for my aquarium. They attach like a bucket looking thing where all the deposits collected, but I don't like it because I'd like to clean my skimmer all the way, which basically increase its productivity by a margin. So it's huge difference actually. So I'm trying to put it back inside, and the skimmer is huge, as you can tell if you compare it to my hand. So it's very big, and that's why it's extremely hard for me to kind of nicely put it in there. So then we'll hold it there for a second so the water fills up initially. Then we slide the collection cup on. There is like an O-ring that keeps the seal very tight. And let's look at the skimmer at work. Let me turn it on. So here you go, skimmer is working. As you can tell, those billions of bubbles coming through the skimmer body. And on the left side there is a valve that I'm turning right now. So basically what it does is it increases or decreases the amount of water that comes into the body of the skimmer. As you can tell right now, the foam is rising while I'm turning the gate valve. You don't want to have the water going all the way up, because that way when the foam starts collecting, it's going to cause a lot of trouble. Well, thank you so much for your time. Like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon, and thank you so much for everything.